Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Shakedown Breakdown. I'm your host, Mallory G. Tonight's episode is a particularly unique one and very personal to me, as tonight we are covering the downfall of Perfectly Posh. Now, if you've been with me since the beginning of me starting this channel, when I was I Don't Want No Huns, you may recall that the MLM that I primarily spent most of my time with was Perfectly Posh. And I talk frequently about how I felt like Perfectly Posh, even though I know that there were a lot of behaviors that were similar to what we see in other MLMs, they were still different in intention. I always felt like Posh was trying to be better. Posh was trying to not be the cringy MLM that we know Monet and Beachbody and Herbalife and Paparazzi and all the other ones to be. Perfectly Posh always tried to be a little bit above that. And so I always held a somewhat of a soft spot, if you will, in my heart for Perfectly Posh because I loved the products. I genuinely loved the products. I was a customer of Perfectly Posh for almost 2 years before I decided to become a consultant, which I've told my story. I became a consultant at the time when I was at a low point. I was looking for community. I was looking for something extra to do. It's kind of the same old tale as old as time as every other consultant and why they end up joining a multi-level marketing company. But even with that being said, there was so much about it that didn't feel cringy, that didn't feel different when I joined. But that cognitive dissonance didn't take long to set in. And as I discovered anti-MLM, I started to see that even though the people who were behind the behaviors were not bad or terrible or cringeworthy, the behaviors were still being taught. For example, the behavior, the idea, the mentality of create relationships, get to know people. Don't just talk to them about the product, talk to them about them. Get to know them on a personal basis. So then when they need something, you're there. At the time that I was doing that, I felt like that makes sense. But as I really look at it and peel back the layers of what that means, it's deceptive. It's not truthful because what you were doing is you were creating a relationship with the ultimate end goal of making a sale. So let's talk about a little bit about Perfectly Posh, who they were, where they're going, or where they went. I clearly didn't script this out. Full disclosure, I never script out any of my videos. I'm just not that kind of commentator, creator, whatever. That's just not what I do. But I will say that I did have an interview with a current Perfectly Posh, or now innovative nutrition promoter. But this person wished to remain anonymous in order to not have to deal with any backlash until they are officially out of, this MLM. And I was going to release that interview, but I did the interview while I was on vacation. Well, not technically vacation. I was picking up my children from my in-laws who live in Kentucky, and I was using my mother-in-law's girlfriend's office, but I only had my one computer that didn't have this editing software and all these things. So long story short, you don't need to know all this. What I'm getting at is it is going to take me way too long, and my ADHD will not permit me to fully edit that interview to keep this person completely anonymous. It would just take way too much of my time. So I reached out to them today, let them know, hey, I'm just going to use the information that you gave me. If there is a point when you have completely severed ties from both Perfectly Posh and Innovative Nutrition that you are comfortable with me releasing it, then I will. But until then, I'm just going to use the information that you gave me and just move forward with my coverage of this acquisition. So we're going to talk about, like I said, what Perfectly Posh was, talk a little bit about how me and the person I interviewed felt about Perfectly Posh, and then what they are and what ended up happening. So Perfectly Posh was founded by the CEO, Ann Dalton. This is Ann Dalton. Ann Dalton left Posh somewhere around February of 2020. It actually might have been somewhere in 2019. My dates might be a little wrong, but please forgive me. I'm not the best at research. I do my best. Okay. Just everyone stay with me. Okay. So she left. And according to my source, It's unclear as to really what happened, why she left, if it was a forced resignation, if it was a mutual split. This person, my source, says that they never had any tension with Anne. They thought Anne was a nice person, ambitious, and like totally a go-getter. However, a lot of other people did not feel that way. Anne then went and started another new company called Ambitious, which I gotta be honest, I kind of love. I kind of love the name Ambitious. But Perfectly Posh allegedly sued her, and Ambitious, when you go to the website, is shut down. Let's take a look. Or rather, it says, there's nothing to see here. It says, thank you, because what would you like to see most in a one-time Ambitious box? Okay, so now we're just doing too much. And we're doing too much on the nameplate. Okay, but item disabled, and then there's this thank you. Ambitious is now paused. One day we hope to be free to do business and resume the success we've shared. But in the meantime, yada, 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 yada. Okay, love and stay in touch. So Ambitious didn't last long, and I don't know exactly when this was posted. It's completely unclear. And if you Google Ann Dalton, there's not a lot to, show about her. So what did Posh sell? Here is what made Posh and what still makes Posh and the consultants that sell for them different, in my opinion, than most MLMs. Now, let me preface this like big, bold disclaimer. I am in no way saying that Posh is different than every MLM. I mean, I'm going to say that, but one of the things that we hear a lot from people in the comments is not all MLMs are the same. My MLM is different. No, your MLM is not, okay? Perfectly Posh was an MLM. It had all of the bonuses. It had the heavy emphasis on recruiting. It gave free trips. I think there may have been some, no, I don't know if there was ever sort of like a car program. I don't think so. But there were the free trips. There was just so much product and so much gifting of like just stuff that you don't need, okay? But the product was soap. It was soap. It was body lotion. It was body wash. It was face masks. Then they dabbled into CBD. And right on the cusp of when I was leaving, they started selling like wellness gummies. And I was like, no thanks. I think I was pregnant when that happened. And so everyone was like, don't do it because you're pregnant. And I was like, that's a big red flag. So they were starting to dabble in that. But from what I could tell, it didn't really take off that well. The CBD oil was like $109 for a bottle. And when I joined Posh, one of their big selling points was nothing is over $25. Nothing. But just before, okay, so I keep saying around the time I joined Posh. Let me back up. When I joined Posh, I had been selling for I had been buying from my upline for about 2 years. And near the end of that time as a customer, they came out with this Defiant eye cream. And I'm telling you, this eye cream was this shit. It was amazing. I wasn't selling yet, but I have some of the worst dark circles that like are known to man. So I really wanted to do a true before and after, and I was dedicated. I'm like, I'm going to use it in the morning. I'm going to use it in the evening. I am going to take a before picture at 1 o'clock in the sunlight, and then I'm going to wait 2 weeks at 1 o'clock in the sunlight. And I did exactly that. So I was trying to be as truthful as I possibly could about my before and after. And the results were unbelievable. I'll see if I can find them and place them here, or here. Okay. So the results were great. And when I got my first order, they sent me a sample pack of like 25 in addition to the actual jar of cream. And my upline, who was not yet my upline, messaged me and was like, I don't know how you got that. Like she could see my order, I guess. I don't know how you got that, but if you don't want them, I'll buy them from you. And I was like, no. I would like to keep them because if I like this eye cream, I'm going to use the sample so I don't have to buy more. And she goes, that is a genius idea. Keep the sample packs, save yourself some money. This was the kind of rhetoric or support or sales technique, or even not sales technique, that I saw all the time in Posh consultants. She told me from the moment I started buying from her, don't buy this product, it's not worth it. Don't buy the shampoo. Like, unless you really want to try the shampoo, she's like, we can't do the shampoo as well as other things can. So she's like, the shampoo is not worth it. This product is amazing, but this one is not. She was very honest about telling people, me and any other customer, these are the products that are worth your time. These are the products that are worth your money. And when I signed on to be a consultant, we always maintained that. I never sold a product to people that I genuinely had never tried, or I never pretended like I tried it. But I did get that feeling of, well, I got to try them all. So I had like every face mask. We're not going to get into the inventory loading. And again, it was never something that consultants were like, you need to buy this and you need to buy this right now. It was like, I really want to try it. I really want to have it. And I really want to be able to tell people about it. So it was a very weird mixture of FOMO, but if you don't have the money, don't do it. Like, seriously. And then you were like, well, I can probably move things around. So it's like, it was a very gray area. Okay. But you were just selling soap. You didn't have to completely change your identity. Like, you didn't have to completely change your lifestyle to say like, oh my God, I'm sleeping so much better now. I have people did say that their skin was better than ever before, but for me, that was actually true. My skin was better than ever before. So I wasn't lying about that. I wasn't making up this fake whatever, okay? So again, it was just soap. Now, in 2017, Perfectly Posh did receive a letter from the FDA that was like, hey, you're making health claims. You're saying that these products can treat or cure or whatever, eczema, psoriasis, whatever, like skin conditions. And that was before I joined. So when I joined, I can distinctly remember saying gentle enough for. So we would say things like, the Totes Oats is gentle enough for eczema. Or if we had customers say, hey, my child has really sensitive skin, what's best? We wouldn't say, this will soothe or heal all your problems. We would say, this is gentle enough that it should not affect your psoriasis, your eczema, I don't remember any other skin conditions at the moment. But we never made claims that like, it will cure it. Now, that might have been because of what happened after the 2017 letter from the FDA. But again, they made the changes and they were doing better. They sought to right the wrongs. Perfectly Posh tried to be as little like an MLM as they possibly could. So around the time that Ann Dalton left Perfectly Posh was around the time that Perfectly Posh invests and partners with Terry LaCour from LaCour Enterprises. So you can see here, and I am married to a bald man, so this is not throwing shade on a bald man, but there's just something about this bald man that makes me feel 1 million. Okay, but like, it just, what's that? Oh my gosh, I meant to look it up before. What's the guy, Lex Luthor, right? X-Men? Like this is, okay, do you see what I'm saying? Now, notice what I highlighted here, okay? He rose to the top early on and has leveraged his expertise in the startup of several successive companies such as BHIP, Prove It. So already I'm like, no. Now, if you go to the LaCour Enterprises website, they don't list how many MLMs that they invested in, partnered in, own. I'm not entirely sure, but it's somewhere around 17. They own or have invested in or have partnered with 17 different MLMs. So when this happened and Ann Dalton left, there was never a CEO replacement. Now, we can look at almost every single MLM. Now, I haven't really done a lot of like deep dives into Herbalife and like Mary Kay and stuff, but the ones I have looked at, Beachbody, Monet, you know who their CEOs are. They are front and center. They are the face of the company, whether we like them or not. Or rather, like Beachbody has Autumn Calabrese salad, okay? So we know like at least a face, a charismatic leader, someone who leads the cult into the fire, okay? Posh they never got that. And according to my source, just everybody at the home office just like linked arms and decided to try to lead the company. And they were still treating their consultants great. They were still treating them with all of the, grandeur that they had been used to. But the price point was not really getting any different. But what my source told me was that the price point wasn't changing, but the size of the product was. When I first joined, we would get these like 8 or 9 ounce bottles of body wash, and now all of a sudden they were 5 ounces. And then they started selling their face wash that used to be in 4 ounces in 3 ounces. And the way that they tried to advertise that was, now they're TSA available or ready or whatever, acceptable. You can fly with your Perfectly Posh. Oh, okay. What you're actually doing is trying to decrease the amount that the customer is getting for the exact same price. Then they started noticing that the ingredients were becoming a little bit less good. For example, the Snarky Bar. If you don't know what the Snarky Bar is, I don't know, maybe I'm glad that you've never experienced it so you don't have to know what it's like to live without it. The Snarky Bar was made of shea butter, and they put, I don't know, was it sand? I don't know. But they put so much rough stuff in this that when you put it on your feet or like your pits or anything that had rough skin that you needed to really like the deepest exfoliating, it was like the good kind of hurt. Okay, I would use it to scratch my back when I was in the shower. And when I first used it, I would use it on my legs because I used to have like, after I had my first spawn, after I had him, I had like these bumps on my thighs. And I was like, I look like I'm a reptilian right now. Okay, I'm a reptile. This is awful. And the Snarky Bar in one use, I'm not exaggerating. It was gone. The bumps were gone. I loved the Snarky Bar. Okay, my skin was smooth. I don't know what was going on over there, but it was amazing. I have not been able to find anything like that since. Now, Lush has one that is close, but it's still not quite as like painful, if that makes any sense, okay? Now, but what my source told me was that it started to be less rough. They started to not use the sand or whatever they were using. It was just like sugar and salt and things that were dissolving. So it wasn't as much of an exfoliant. So they were cutting back on the quality of the product to try to save money. But clearly that wasn't working. So we see here that this is the part of an article that came from behindmlm.com, which if you need some information on some MLMs, please go to this website. It is very informative. So they wrote, LaCour Enterprises is owned by Terry LaCour. Over the past few years, the company has bought out a number of MLM companies. Although we noticed a few of the acquisitions, Euphoria Science, Wakaya Perfection, Nutricilix, LaCour Enterprises does not provide a complete list of MLM companies it owns on its website. Prior to the LaCour, okay, so this is all stuff that I've already said. I'm probably not editing that out. Sorry. Okay, here's LaCour Enterprises website. You can't, there's like nothing on there. If you click on companies, it doesn't say Perfectly Posh, Innovative Nutrition. It doesn't say any of that. Okay. So what happened? What's happening now? So what we can figure out from this horrific live that was done on Facebook, what is happening now is that Perfectly Posh was acquired by Innovative Nutrition. And you might be saying, Mallory, what is Innovative Nutrition? Innovative Nutrition. Do you remember when I did the interview? If you watched that interview, and if you haven't, go back and watch it. With Katrina, when she was a representative for Lavelle Thrive. Lavelle Thrive sold shakes and these patches that had vitamins in them. And they were supposed to like be the best way for you to absorb. Rude. For the best way for you to absorb all of the nutrients that you ever needed in your body. Because your skin is the most absorbent organ that you have. whatever. Innovative Nutrition only sells these stickers. That's it. They don't sell a shake. They don't sell soap. They just sell stickers. What's also interesting is that very recently, within the past couple of months, Youngevity, which is another MLM that is also under the umbrella of, you guessed it, LaCour Enterprises. They're suing Innovative Nutrition. And if you're wondering, it is spelled INNOV8TIVE. Innovative Nutrition. They are suing Innovative Nutrition because they are alleging that those little stickers don't have anything in them, that they have run tests, third-party tests. I need to read, I'm not the best at reading court documents because I get really bored with all of the legal jargon. And now some legal jargon that I can't focus on it, but they are alleging that there is nothing in those stickers, that you're putting those stickers on your body to signal that you're in a cult, and nothing's happening. And they're expensive. They're so expensive. I'm just going to go to Dollar Tree and get like a star sticker and put it on there and say that I've got my vitamins for the day. Okay. Can we just do that? So now what's happening is we have Innovative Nutrition that has acquired. They kept saying, we didn't buy you. We have bought the product. So what was happening at Posh on their end was apparently items were not being shipped. And what still has not completely come out entirely was that they basically went bankrupt. There was just no money. Their convention is coming up in like 6 weeks, which they call Uncon because it's unconventional. I'll wait for you to finish rolling your eyes. Okay. The consultants had already paid, like those tickets were already paid for. And that money is gone. According to these CEOs, which I don't trust these new CEOs as far as I can throw them, and we'll get to them in a moment. But that money is gone. Okay. They're claiming that the hotel, nothing was paid for. The money they paid for tickets is just gone. And that they are taking on the financial burden of making sure that this Uncon happens, but now they're calling it Elevate with an 8. Okay. So, but they're alleging that they bought all of the product from this warehouse over here that has to go to their warehouse, and then that warehouse will ship it out to the customer. So apparently there have been at least 3 or 4 weeks of product, people placing orders, and it's just not being shipped because allegedly the shipping warehouses were holding the products hostage because Perfectly Posh had not paid their shipping supplier, is that what you call it, for shipping. Okay, so it just seems like there was like a misappropriation of funds. The money was gone. You have to wonder where it went. And in my mind, I'm thinking, where it went was paying for these free trips. I mean, there were leaders who just went to Hawaii. My former upline, I just saw her just weeks ago posting about the gifts that she got in the mail from leaders, from, the home office to get her ready to go to Hawaii for the trip that she earned. And then they went to Hawaii. And this was all happening at the home office in Utah while they were in Hawaii. So they're on this all expenses paid trip that's going to be put on your 1099 at tax season, completely oblivious to the fact that when they come back, their company will be, in essence, defunct. Now, again, this is all the information I'm giving you is what I've been able to piece together. I don't have anything solid or written in stone of exactly what happened, okay? But what we do know is that the new leaders, or the leaders of Innovative Nutrition, I always want to say Innovative Technology, but Innovative Nutrition went live in the Posh Bosses Facebook group. And I was given access to that recording, and we're going to watch it. We're going to watch some of it because honestly, it's an hour and 22 minutes long. And I think that you'll get the vibe that you need to get from these people within the first 30 seconds. But we'll see how long I can take it. And maybe I'll watch as much as I can and then edit things out. But to give you some, okay, there are 2 CEOs, co-CEOs, and 2 COOs. Barb Pitcock and Heidi Whitehair are the co-CEOs. And the COOs if I have that right, are David Pitcock and Ken Whitehair. To give you a little bit of an idea for those of you who have been with me for a while, Barb Pitcock on her Instagram has a picture of herself with the one and only Jessie Lee Ward, talking about how she's an inspiration. She can't wait to learn from her. Now listen, this is where I have a major problem, because in my experience with Posh, and for the past 8 months that I've been doing commentary, I constantly go back and check in on like, what's going on with Posh? Is there anything juicy? Nothing juicy, because the representatives weren't problematic that I could ever find. There was nothing super problematic about any of the leaders. All of the leaders in Perfectly Posh were genuinely good people who were trying their best to not be cringy. They were the ones that said, if someone says no, it means no. Just be present on social media, and if they want to come back and like ask questions, then you'll be there. But it was never a circle back to people who said no. It was everything that Jessie Lee Ward is not. Okay, it was kindness, it was empathy, it was compassion, it was trying to genuinely care about people, which is why I think that Perfectly Posh failed. Because in multi-level marketing, you can't be the people who run those companies, who become top leaders, can't be genuinely. I want to be careful how I say this, because I don't want anyone who's watching this, like maybe from Monet or Prove It or Innovative, to say, she said I'm not a good person. It's not that I don't think you're a good person, but when you get to a certain level of multi-level marketing, you have to manipulate, you have to lie, you have to deceive in order for it to work. So it's not to say that the people in successful MLMs are bad people. They have just decided that they are okay with lying and manipulating and deceiving. That I want to just say that gently, because I don't want anyone watching this, because maybe you're one of these people. Maybe you're one of these people watching this and you're like, how dare she? And please know that I'm not trying to imply that you yourself are a bad person. You're not. But you may have made the decision that you're okay with bad decisions in order to make money. Okay. So now that I've said that, that's why I think. So when I saw a picture of Barb Pitcock with Jessie Lee Ward, I knew where this was headed. So let's take a look at the very first moments of this live. And you can just tell me in the comments how it makes you feel from the get-go. Okay. Yeah. So, oh wait, I'm sorry. So yeah, Barb and Heidi are CEOs. Dave and Ken are SCOOs. Here we go.
Good morning.
Hey guys, welcome.
We are here, and I'm going to do a little disclaimer.
Give everybody a chance.
We will answer all of your questions. I ask you to be respectful to my co-CEO. She has a pair. I am an empath. I care about your feelings. I have been Vaselined up in the back room before we got in this boxing ring, and I've been taking it all week. We are going to share some things that we have not been able to share, and I ask that all of you have a little bit of patience and understanding until the end of the live. If you still have questions, we will answer your questions. But kindness is the etiquette, because once you know the story, you're going to feel a lot different. So I know.
Okay, so it's not even a minute in, and she has started the live completely on the defensive, asking for kindness, claiming she's an empath. Okay. Here is my entire problem. And if you are a Perfectly Posh consultant watching this and you were like, I don't know how I felt about that, but I didn't feel good, maybe I can shed some light on that. In my opinion, having been a leader having had a staff where I used to work, I was in charge. I was the director of performing arts. I had a staff below me. When we would have things that I knew my staff were going to be mad about, the way I would approach it was, hey guys, this is going to be really difficult. And I know a lot of you are going to be angry, and you are valid in being angry. So let's talk it out. Let me tell you what's happened. Let me tell you why it's happened. And then let's talk about your feelings. What she did was, don't come at us. Let's be respectful, which again, you could be like, well, what's wrong with saying be respectful? Because, and again, I'm not going to take the time to sort through the comments, but the comments were from people who were frustrated, angry, because just to give you a bit more backstory here, a lot of consultants all of a sudden on a Friday morning went to go check their virtual office, place orders, customers went to place orders, and the website was down. They knew nothing. And then all of their perks that customers and themselves had earned for free product were gone. All of the parties that they had set up for their hosts, their hostesses, gone. So they were justifiably angry. And to start off a meeting like this, basically on the defensive, is absolutely not a good look.
That you are all, many of you are happy and excited. Many of you are very angry. We understand, and we are going to share with you. So Heidi, your hands up.
I really just want to say, don't comment. My mama told me,
Red flag. Red flag.
if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So I would love for you all to just sit back, take a deep breath, drink your coffee if you're drinking coffee, whatever you're drinking, wherever in the world you are right now. I'm just asking you to give us a minute to explain what's happened. You've had a lot of questions. We are here, our team.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Yeah, that's about, if you don't like somebody's haircut or if you don't like their artwork in their home. The comments people were saying were, I am really frustrated and this seems extremely unfair and we were given zero answers from our leadership and I am angry. That's not being mean.
Transparent. We are going to lay it all out for you guys. We have some really good kind of reasons behind what's happened, but we're asking you for respect, for kindness, because that is how we roll and that is how we will get through this together.
Okay, do we all just want to do a collective eye roll together? Respect and kindness, because that is how we roll. The beginning of this meeting does not, this is the introduction of, you have joined a cult. And it's not even so much that you willingly chose to join a cult. You woke up one day in a cult, okay? These people are not good leaders.
So if you don't have anything nice to say, please don't comment at all. Keep it to yourself. You can private message me.
That's called thought information control. You can't control, dear Heidi Whitehair, you cannot tell these people that they're not allowed to speak up. That is the sign of a cult.
I have no problem with that. I will happily answer all your questions. But when you comment on Facebook, I'm just going to give y'all a little mentoring moment here. When you comment on Facebook and you go in with negativity, you're spreading that. It's like my first mentor taught me, when you spread your negativity, it's like going to someone's house, knocking on their door, dumping your garbage can in the middle of their living room and leaving. Like you feel.
That is not what is happening here. Negativity would be somebody in the comments saying, we're all going to die. This sucks. You suck. We all suck. Everybody sucks. And the world is on, we're just like a, rock floating through space and nothing matters. People saying, I'm angry because I feel like I'm getting screwed.
Better, but you just left all your garbage in their living room. So,
well, and a lot of people in this group, Heidi, they're customers. They're committed customers that love Posh. They just wanted to get some products.
The Posh Bosses Facebook group is for consultants only. So you're already telling me that you have no understanding of what these people do.
They're a part of this community because they love their Posh family. Yeah. They are not disgruntled. They're trying to figure out what just happened. And I think that's part of the reason why we never really wanted to share this story. When we first started this, and we're going to go through the whole time.
They just said that they wanted to be transparent. She's like, we're all about transparency here. And then she goes, we never wanted to share this story. I'm sorry, what?
Timeline.
Yeah.
We were with 8 of the top leaders and they were in tears and heartbroken and crying. And they said, don't ever tell anyone this. Our customers don't need to know. There lies the reasoning we have not done this live. It doesn't affect your customers. They're still
Yes, it does.
going to get the great products. But for those of you that are building a business and you're defensive, you miss your person at corporate, you miss what was. I think you need to realize what the true story is. And as hard as it may be, sit back and listen and absorb, and then you can comment and ask questions.
Isn't that cute? So I'm going to wrap up this video and do a part 2 where I finish breaking down this live. And I think it's important that, especially if you are a perfectly posh consultant, you may not have been exposed to this kind of rhetoric, this kind of behavior, this kind of information control. And so when I started this, I wasn't going to do an entire reaction to the whole live, but I think that it's important so that we can really break down what they're saying, allow you to ask the questions that they don't want you to ask, and allow people in the comments to answer your questions, or I can answer your questions and really give you that opportunity. So I'm going to end it here to give you just a little teaser of what this live will be. And we will get into more of this type of rhetoric so that if you are a consultant who is like, I'm just going to give it some time, I'm going to just see what they do. Hopefully I will be able to provide you some tools, some critical thinking skills, not to say you don't have critical thinking skills, but sometimes when we're presented with new tactics, new behaviors we may not be used to before, we need a different set of critical thinking skills to really be able to digest and understand and then appropriately respond. So, I want to remind all of you, especially if you are a current perfectly posh consultant who found this video because you're looking for answers. I have a number of people that started following me on Instagram because they're just looking for any kind of answers about what's going on. I want to remind you that whether you leave Perfectly Posh and you decide to join another MLM, I want to just give you this very gentle warning that Perfectly Posh was its own unique thing. They were, as far as I could tell in my experience and from the people I've talked to, by and large, not very problematic. I think that you will be hard-pressed to find any multi-level marketing company that is similar to Perfectly Posh in terms of not being problematic. And if you do, you will likely find yourself in a very similar position like this again. So I have a motto here at the Shakedown where I say, through kindness, empathy, education, and patience, we create a lasting movement. So we keep calm. We put our heads down and we keep working forward and we try to stay positive, but we allow the negative, the bad feelings to feel. We allow ourselves to feel that. We allow the anger to set in. We allow ourselves to work through the process because you cannot always stay positive. It's just not possible. Sometimes you're going to be negative. Sometimes you're going to be angry, and you have to process that in the best way that you can. And if there's anything I can do to help you process that, please know that I am here. I am willing to listen. My messages are open. You can email me at theshakedown412@gmail.com to share your story. And if you are willing, I would be happy to have you on the show to share your experience with Perfectly Posh, what you experienced in this transition with innovative nutrition, anything that you would like to just talk about with your time in multi-level marketing. So remember to keep calm, and I will see you at the very next possible chance. Take care.